y'all. This is Third Eye Bell in the house. I'm doing my live here, reading, living untethered. If you follow me on my IG, I go there first. I try to do them simultaneously, but it's not working out that way since I'm new to the YouTube. So I'm doing it now. And what I'm doing is a live read, Living Untethered by Michael Singer. I've been reading this book in sessions for about a year now. You can follow me on my Instagram, Third Eye Bell, if you want to see more on this. This book right here is a life changer, and I wanted to share as I've been reading down the last few chapters here so that it can benefit someone, even if it touches one person. That's all I care about. You know, here I know on the YouTube we try to keep it short. So I'm merely just making this video so I can put it up even though it is live. I'm going to go through, the chapters are relatively short. We're now on chapter 31. If you want to see chapter 30, please go to my IG. And where we are in this book is how to deal with your traumas, how to deal with fear, how to deal with despair, how to get over being angry all the time and reacting just at the whim of every little thing. And this book right here is not a book really based around therapy, and it's not a spiritual book. It's kind of a cross in between, but it is very beneficial for learning. If it touches one person, that's all I care about, is just that one person that will get this message, that your day will be brighter. Once again, I'm Third Eye Bell. Some call me Jamila. I'm a professional muse, and I am a healer, and I'm here to assist those who are in need of something different, a different life path. You know, I'm not going to sit here and do the whistles and bells. I'm not going to be doing a bunch of edits. That's just not me. I'm just going to do what I do. And I'm here. I do pull cards. I do read tarot. I've been lately working with the Oracle deck. So in my session on IG, I had already pulled cards. I'm going to keep the energies here with me that I'm working with. I am going to relight my Palo Santo to clear my space once again as I read to you. Okay, so if you give me a moment, we're going to re-cleanse this space. Any energies that may have come in here and snuck in, out they will go. My cards have been cleansed. My cards have been pulled. I like to open up my reads with the energies, with my spirit guides, with the archangels. As I pulled the cards, as we begin, the first card that came out that is riding with us is Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is known as the hierarchy of the archangels that sits beside, it said, the right hand of God. He was brought down as Christ, and then there's a time that he was brought down, some say, through Thoth. So Archangel Michael's energy is going to be with us as we go through this read. And then we are on a full moon. It's a full moon in Gemini. So I wanted to go ahead and pull down the Ascended Masters deck. And then working with the full moon in Gemini, what is recommended that you do that is beneficial is that it's a time to release and clear. You want to clear all the stagnated energies that no longer serve you. As we get ready to close out this year, we want to be able to go into this new cycle that's presented on us. Even though this calendar is not correct, the way they use it, we still work with the moon cycle. And in the moon cycle in Gemini is about choices. It's about the duality of change. It's the duality of reaching the end of one cycle, going into the next cycle. What do we want to get rid of that's going to help to benefit us now as we move over into the next cycle, which is going to be a new moon where you plant the seed. But right now we want to release any and everything that is holding us back, that is not serving us during this cycle. So in that, the card I pull, we release our, through the Ascended Masters, Pan came forth. And this is fertility. Fertility, as we know, is growth. It's going to be planting a seed, but you have to cleanse yourself and purge yourself in order to live in this realm. The realm of Pan, fantasy, adventure, happiness, joy, finding your true self through fertility and growth. So we welcome Pan. And then the next card that I pulled down, came down, was the new moon. As we close out this full moon, we are going to be moving into a cycle of the new moon, cleansing yourself, preparing to plant the new seed to grow and fertilize. And then there we are, we have these two together. New growth, fertilization, okay? So let's start. In my last chapter that we read, chapter 31, on Living Untethered, the author gave us techniques for freeing ourselves. 3 techniques on how you free yourself, the things that you want to do so that you can be a free spirit, so that you can thrive and know who you are, who you want to be, how you want to grow. I'm pulling over. I always have my little notes on the side. The 3 techniques that we recovered last week was positive thinking. So when you get a negative thought, you're going to turn around and you're going to give it a positive thought to counteract that thought. That is helpful and beneficial. The next technique that you want to try to do is create a mantra for yourself. When you're feeling blue, or you're feeling angry, you're feeling bad, or the energies are just strange, and that mantra is saying something to yourself over and over again to move you away from whatever that vibration and that feeling was that you were having. And the third thing is witness consciousness. And in dealing with a witness consciousness, when you're feeling a certain kind of way, it allows you to step back outside yourself and witness whatever it is you're seeing, feeling, and not have judgment on yourself. Just witness it, and it makes you aware of, okay, I'm getting in a mood. Okay, I'm feeling this sadness. Okay, am I going into a depression? You can step outside your body and witness that. Once again, please go to my Instagram and check out my lives. Check out my videos to help you with this. I guarantee it'll work. It'll work. You know, we all grow together. I'm a croon. I've been here on planet Earth a long time. I've experienced the dark and the light. I know what it's like. All that you've been through, I have gone through, and I'm here to help guide you. Guide your footsteps. And I love reading. That's why I do live book reads. That is my thing, live book reading. So I hope you join me, and if you find this beneficial, please like and share. That would help me to help to get the information out to others as we grow. So we're going to go ahead and read chapter 31. The chapters here are always very short. We're going to breeze through this. And then if you have any questions, if you really want to get involved and learn more about me, hit me up. You know, let's talk. Go to my IG and check me out. I've been on there for a long time. I'm new to the YouTube platform, but I'm here and I'm now. It may not be perfect. I'm not here to do the song, whistle, and dance, but hey, you see this mask? I'm here to share the truth, to pull the mask off of the bullshit that's going on out here in the world. I'm not about the song and dance and the entertainment and the fake ass shit. I'm here to talk about real things and how to deal with what's going on in this new system of things now. Okay? So let's go. I'm going to read this chapter and let's see how it goes. The best way to let go of stored pockets of pain is to practice, the author is saying. Just as you practice scales to learn the piano or practice a sport to get good at it, so you practice letting go. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit on here, it's louder. You start with simple things. We call these low-hanging fruit. Now I'm going to pause and I'm going to share about low-hanging fruit since we are on the full moon cycle. Low-hanging fruit, it has a duality of it. Some people can look at it as bad. As you think of it in the way of back in the day, there was a song that Billie Holiday did called Strange Fruit, would cover the story of how we were treated as people of color being hung on a tree. That was back then considered low-hanging fruit. And that is the negative side of that story on how being hung by a tree was low-hanging fruit. It was very negative and there was very, very dark. And I have to talk about this because of the title being low-hanging fruit by this author. Billie Holiday was a true rebel when she made this song. And if you go back and listen to the song, they wanted to really, really kill her. But we're not going to say that part. It made her life hell, but she kept singing the song because she felt that it should be a reminder of your low-hanging fruit was you hanging us by a tree and thought that it was good. It was not good. It was not sweet. It was not beautiful. Now I had to share that because that is the duality of low-hanging fruit. But we all also have a polarity with that. There's always a high and there's always a low. On a high scale, a low-hanging fruit could be reaching and touching something that's accessible to you that can help you thrive. On a higher note, particularly when it comes to business or a job or making money, finding money, there's low-hanging fruit, something easily that you can grasp so that you can rise up and elevate to the next level. That is a higher source of low-hanging fruit. In this reading, we're going to be using low-hanging fruit as a term to help you to deal with toxic situations, disturbances in your mind, situations that you can grasp onto easily to practice how to change behaviors and thought patterns, okay? So I had to share that before I continue. The author then reads, there are many situations each day when you create an inner disturbance for absolutely no good reason. Bothering yourself about the car in front of you does no good at all. It only makes you tense and uptight. The cost-benefit analysis is 100% cost and zero benefit, he says. Letting go of that tendency should be easy, but it's not. You will find that you're in a habit of insisting and demanding that things should be the way you want them to be, even if it's irrational. Things are the way they are because all the influences that make them that way. You're not going to change the weather by complaining about it. If you are wise, you will start to change your reaction to reality instead of fighting with reality. By doing so, you will change your relationship with yourself and with everything else, the author explains. Start with the small things to prove to yourself that you are capable of doing this. Working with yourself at this level is practicing letting go. Once you're able to relax and release through the relatively easy stuff, you'll find you are better able to deal with the bigger situations. You are training yourself to deal with yourself, he says. So I'll pause real quick and kind of a short recap. He's explaining that you have no control over certain situations. So the whole thing that you have to really realize is that if you can't control the situation, rethink about how you're going to deal and feel about the situation. Okay? So let's go on. And we have to do that by dealing with self, he says. Let's go and continue. Lots of different experiences in life fall into the low-hanging fruit category. A good practice for letting go can be found in your relationship with the weather. Okay? I'm pause for a minute. When he's talking about the weather, I was explaining on my IG that we can't control the weather, but there is a source that does control the weather, which is also a source in a way that they try to control us, and it's the harp. You know, go and do the research. I never share any information on my platform that I know can't be researched. And the harp is a weather machine that does control weather. So I'm just going to sit that right there. You can go and do the research on it yourself. He then says, believe it or not, you can use the weather for tremendous spiritual growth. There's always weather out there. Hot, cold, windy, dry, humid, and everything in between, he says. The weather has nothing to do with you. You know, even though, like I just mentioned about the heart, it doesn't have anything to do, this is me speaking, it doesn't have anything to do with us controlling it, because we can't control it. But sometimes it does have something to do with us on how we have to move with it. When you think about Hurricane Katrina, this is my personal belief, is that Hurricane Katrina was man-made. And I really personally do believe that it was from the heart. But we as humans, we didn't have any way to control that. So we can't control it. So using the weather as an example for training is great. So let's follow through and see what he's saying. He then says, it has to do with the forces that are causing it to be the way it is. If you can't handle the weather without getting disturbed, how are you going to handle anything else, he says. Complaining about the weather is a perfect example of something that has a 100% cost and zero benefit. What do you gain by complaining about the weather? Nothing except to get upset. I couldn't handle the heat today, he quotes. It was terrible. I was sweating. I hated it, unquote. He now says, congratulations. You didn't have a nice day, and it didn't change the weather one bit. Okay, so let's pause right there for a minute and evaluate that real quick. All that complaining that you did about the weather that particular day, your day ended up being bad because you were complaining about the weather, but you didn't change the weather. You just ruined your day by complaining about it, is what he's talking about. Okay? He then goes on. Eventually, you start to work with yourself. When your mind complains about the weather, don't fight with it, he says. If you want, you can use positive thinking. Okay, we just went over what positive thinking was in the beginning of the video. Change your thought process, okay, to something positive. He then says, for example, when the mind starts up with, it's hot, I'm so hot, instead of getting into that, ask yourself, how did it get hot? What does that mean is hot? Okay, ask yourself that question. He then says, use your mind to remind you that there's a star 93 million miles away that is so hot you can actually feel the heat. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, so this is me speaking. The author is reminding us about the sun, Ra. that is so amazing, a star so hot and so bright that it can come down and we can feel it. And the amazement of that is what he's saying, to recognize the wholeness of it, changing the thought into gratitude. Okay, so let's continue. He then says, use your higher mind to appreciate and respect reality instead of complaining about it. When you do this, you are willfully using your mind for something positive and constructive. You are raising yourself, he says. Though this practice of positive thinking is beneficial, ultimately what you need to do is relax and release past the disturbance. Okay? If you bother to relax and release, you won't be so hot. After all, you in there can't get hot. You can only experience that the body is hot. Okay? So I'm going to pause right there so I can explain to you really briefly what he's talking about, those that haven't been following me in this journey on reading this book. Okay. You are a spiritual being in a body having a human experience. So you are really not the body. You are you, your soul self, having the experience. So he's saying what you can do is go through the experience, but it's not your soul self that's experiencing your heat. The heat is your body self. And that is where you can use technique number 2, and that is breath, breathing, and mantras, saying over and over again something positive or something energy of maybe I am thankful and I am grateful for this heat that I feel that is nourishing my body. Create a mantra and change the situation so that your soul self is just looking at the experience and embarking on the experience of feeling the heat. Okay, that's the best way I can explain it. Okay, so let's continue. He then says, after all, you in there can't get hot. You can only experience the body is hot. You are way back inside witnessing the experience of the heat. If you relax and release back into your seat of consciousness, you are relaxing away from the part of you that's complaining. He then says, there's definitely complaining going on in the mind. No reason to deny that. But if you relax and lean away from where the noise is coming from, you will be leaning back into the seat of self. Okay, the seat of self, that is your relaxation, your mind saying, okay, here I'm in this, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, as they say in yoga. That's me speaking, okay, not the author. He then goes on and says, 2 things happen when you relax and release. 1, you stop fighting with the causes of your disturbed mind, and that gives you room to release. 2, you are actually relaxing into the seat of self, and you will grow spiritually. If you will do that with the weather, if you will do that with the car in front of you, or if you do that with all these low-hanging fruit situations, you will grow every single day, the author is saying. So there's summarized in that particular paragraph the simple things that are happening that will get on your nerves. Try and practice an alternative way to get past it. Okay, and it takes practice. Just said those little things, practice every day. Those little things, okay? He then says, the way you know that you are working with low-hanging fruit is that the situation is resolved simply by letting go inside. He says, let it go. Push it away. Let it go. It's not that serious. Okay? He's then getting ready to close. This is a short chapter, as I said. There's nothing else to do about it. You were the only problem. And once you let go of creating the problem is solved. He's letting us know, the author, is that we are our problem. When it's lower level situations like that, we're the one that's causing the problem to ourselves. We're causing unnecessary distress, raising our heart rate for nothing, making our blood sugars get out of whack for things that are low-hanging fruit that we can't control. Okay, let's go on. He says, if you accept the weather, there's nothing else to do about it. If you accept the myriad of meaningless things you have decided to bother yourself about, there's nothing else to do about them. That's how you identify with the low-hanging fruit. In contrast, if you let go of your reactions to a situation and there's still something in front of you to deal with, then you have some work to do outside. Okay, so let me summarize on that. You know, we deal with real life situations he's talking about. And there are things that happen that can get us upset. And there may be action that we have to take. But if we are aware that we have a situation that we know can get us upset and we react to it in a different way, that way, when we move towards the action to resolve or deal with the situation, we will move differently and the outcome will be different. Okay? So let's see how he's closing this. He then says, for example, if you lose your job and work with letting go of your negative reactions, that's good. But you still need to go out and look for a new job, he's saying. Letting go does not absolve you from the responsibilities in life, he's explaining. You are not letting go of life. You are letting go of your personal reaction to life. Okay, so that is a difference. Okay. You can't let go of life because life is going to happen. This is me speaking. But you can change how you react to the situation that is happening in your life. Therefore, you deal with life differently. You know, don't you lose your job. Don't get so depressed and caught up and become a couch potato and just give up on self. When you find something like that or some tragic thing happens that you can't handle, if you need to go get help, go get help. Call a professional. Call a friend. Call on somebody to help you to get through that situation. But try not to get stuck, because that's when you make life control you. You can't leave life. It's going to still be there. You know, and that's when some people, they decide they want to check out. I've been there. I've wanted to check out many a times. I've been there. I know what it's like to be in the hospital because you don't want to be on planet Earth anymore. I talk about that on my IG and I'm going to share my experiences here. Learn to deal with life, but react to things in life differently. It'll save your life. Really. Let's see how he closes this. He says, you are not letting go of life. You are letting go of your personal reactions to life. Your personal reactions do not help you deal with situations in a constructive manner. They actually cloud your ability to make good decisions. Okay? So once again, how you personally react to things can cloud your decisions if it is not something that is going to be beneficial to you in the long run. Okay? He then says, when all is said and done, you're going to find the majority of your inner disturbances falls into the category of low-hanging fruit. The only reason there's a problem is because you defined it that way. You are the problem. Once again, you are the problem. And that can't be solved outside. It can only be solved inside. So we have to do the inner work. Okay? That is the end of chapter 31 on living untethered, low-hanging fruit. I really recommend you go out and get this book. Either buy it or get it on audiobook. It is very beneficial. You know, it has changed me in a lot of ways. Okay. So as I close out this YouTube, I am going to close with my closing cards and my messages from the divine. And I have 2 cards to close. As we move on this full moon in Gemini, it is change. Make a choice. Make a decision to do something, to release something that's going to hold you back. Bring in a positive source of positive energy upon yourself. Forgive yourself. It's okay. Because we're going to be closing this year out. We're going to be going into something new. The world is going to be exposed. The mask is off. The United States is going to shift. And the world is going to shift along with the United States. The government is going to be exposed. Corporate America is going to change. Spirit has guided, and all of us, we know corporate America is falling. Okay? So you want to do something that's going to be productive for you in life. Be prepared for the fallout that's going to happen. All right? So my closing cards that I pulled, and I'm going to pull it up, is our moon deck. And this is from my moon card deck. And it turned out to be the full moon in Aries. We know that Aries has that fire. And the message is, a fiery climate approaches. And here is our closing card. A fiery climate approaches. Okay, get ready for the force to be reckoned with. Okay, karma is here. Work on self and don't react in a way that's going to have you fall, because it's going to be a fiery climate. We're going to be tested. This is the world that we're in right now. Be ready. Get ready. And I'm going to be right here helping us to work on that. And my last card was with Isis, as I pulled the energy of Isis, and we have both with us. And I'm going to read the message that was sent forth as we close tonight. The message is this. It's based on initiation. Initiation of self. Going in to initiate who you are. Follow your path, your spiritual journey. You are powerful. You don't have to follow any group. You don't have to follow the old ways of things in order to raise yourself spiritually. You are who you are. I am that I am. Okay? And the message is this. When you are being initiated into the divine mysteries of light, love, and power, there are moments of profound challenge. The key is to find the light within the challenge, the opportunity for growth that can transform any challenge into an experience of healing. With compassion and cleverness, you will not burn during your challenges. You will thrive. Do not be afraid to thrive. Okay? I want to thank you. Blessings. Peace. This is Third Eye Bell. I hope to see you again. Good night.